and I have so many prayer warriors out there, it's because we can come to you every week on the air. We can speak the truth. It's because of you. It's because of each and every one of you that show up every Monday night. And you don't have to show up. I know you have a lot of things you have to do. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you. I pray for you. I try to answer each and every email. But together, we strive for the truth. And tonight, my guest, Lew, he's a Navy SEAL. He's given his life for his country, for you, for me. But now we're going to talk about the fact he's given his life to God. Because God's son, God gave his son to give his life for us. Lew, are you with me, buddy?
I'm with you, David.
Okay. One of the things that touched my heart talking to you and watching your videos is you're an advocate of the suicide victims of our vets and of the military. Would you take just a moment and explain what's really going on in the world? Are we hearing the truth about how many vets and how many military people are committing suicide?
Correct. It's 22 a day. It goes up and goes down. It's averaged about 22 for the last several years. And that's the ones we know about that are reported, because I'm sure there's more than even that. Some of the things these guys deal with, we haven't given them the right attention coming home, and we haven't given them the right programs, care, love. We don't understand some of the things going on inside of them. It's hit me hard with several buddies where first I was mad at the guys, cutting them out of my life. That guy was this, he was a loser. But then as I got more mature and closer to God, and I moved on in life, I started hearing about these things: traumatic brain injury, PTSD,
right?
All these different miswirings of the brain, where someone becomes a recluse, or they start feeling like they aren't worthwhile, or they start falling into a dark, deep depression and spiraling out of control.
Yeah. Lew, how much does demon warfare have to do with suicide? I know you talked about the condition of the mind and the war wounds. I understand that. I agree with it. But how much really of suicide do demons play a part in that?
It's a huge part, because if your armor isn't strong and you give them an inch, they'll take a yard. You give them a yard, they'll take a football field. And I think that's the door left open that pushes these people over the edge. It's spiritual warfare.
Wow. So really, kind of would it be safe to say that demons play a part in every suicide? It's just that maybe they take advantage of the war wounds and the chemical imbalances and so forth. They take advantage?
Absolutely. Is it normal to kill yourself?
No. Speaking of killing yourself, you shared something with me, and I hope you don't mind me bringing this up. I'm not sure if I even asked you, but you had contemplated suicide at one time. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Why do you think, were you a Christian at the time you contemplated it?
I wasn't. I was a really confused, lost person. I was in incredible shape. I was an amazing athlete, and I was really a social butterfly. From the outside looking in, you would think everything was perfect.
Okay.
But it wasn't.
What can you share with us? And the reason I'm asking is we have people out there, and I can tell you right now, there's one person out there that's been contemplating suicide. But there's people out there that have had people in their lives that's killed themselves. And there's people out there that have thought about it, and people out there that know someone who's thought about it. Can you tell me what came into your mind, what that trigger that made you decide you wanted to do something like that?
I was really proud of my role as a Navy SEAL. And I was in my second team and had a couple deployments under my belt. And there was a couple injustices that went on. And I went to several different people in the chain of command, did all the paperwork you're supposed to do, and it was falling on deaf ears. And I was never anybody's number. I was on my own since about 12 years old. So if you treated me like, hey, you're just number 4, go stand in line. And that's how I felt like I was starting to get treated. So I contemplated departing the military, and I was over it. I didn't want to go to work anymore. And I crafted a plan that wasn't a very good plan because I didn't think it out very well. And I hurt a lot of people I loved. I put a cloud over me that wasn't who I am. And I had found myself all alone in life, and no mom, no dad, and everyone I loved the most now wasn't my friend.
So,
And I laid in bed for about 10 or 12 days with a gun in my hand. And I called a family member in my life at that time, and I said, "Hey, I just wanted to tell you I love you. This is going to be my last day." And that person hung up on me and said not to call him again. So I thought it through, and I thought, I was really proud of the family I had and some of the service we've had in the family. And I thought I didn't want them to have this dark stain on the family. So I thought, I had this idea. I'm really dehydrated. I haven't really eaten or drank anything in a long time. It'd been days. I went out on the beach and I decided I'm going to run as hard as I can until my heart explodes. And I took off sprinting as hard as I could. And I made it a good mile and a half, the halfway Chicks Beach, the 26-mile bridge to the Lesnar Bridge. I was about halfway on that run, and I got stopped in midair, and I couldn't move my body. And at that time, I could bench about 350. I could squat about 600, 500 pounds. Not a clean squat, but I could put 500 on my back and do like a half squat. I could do 315 20 times easy. And
yeah.
I remember I was in the air like, what is going on? And what is happening to me here? And there was no one on the beach. Everybody who was somebody was at work. I was a loser. So I'm on the beach in February in the middle of the day. And I remember there was a phraseology in my head, get on your knees now. And I get on my knees. And I'm looking around. Who just spoke to me? What was that? And it was, get on your knees now. And it dawned on me, oh my God, God's talking to me. And every good SEAL faces the water when we do our push-ups. So I just thought, hey, face the water. I remember getting on my knees. I hadn't been on my knees ever in my life. And I looked at my watch and it was 3:04. I just happened to glance as I put my head on the sand, and I was visited by an angel. And I at first thought it was God, like the strength of the voice and where's this coming from? But in what was going on in my head, I was standing in front of this angel, and we were talking sort of in our minds. They don't really talk with their voices; it's visual. But in my body, felt like I was like laying on a cloud, and everything felt wonderful. And all the pain of my life somehow was parked somewhere else. It was nothing but just joy in my heart. And it was like
Wow.
harmony, and it was like, wow, this is great, this is great. And this angel showed me very deep in my life and said, the Lord needs you for something. And one day I'm going to use your voice. When this meeting, this engagement was over, it was like I looked at the water, it rippled. I didn't see this angel I had just been talking to, and I was back into my misery, but excited. I couldn't wait to tell somebody. But as I'm heading back to my house, I'm in, wow, I'm already down and out. Now people will think I'm crazy. I can't tell anybody. So I went to First Baptist Church in Norfolk, where Dr. Record was. Dr. Record and I are friends to this day. He's a head of the Southern Baptists in North America, pretty well-known guy. And I went and told him, and I remember his beautiful face looking at me and said, Lou, there's 5,000 people in my church, and I think you're the most complex person I ever met. Maybe you should just move to L.A. And suggested I move to L.A. So I spent a good period of time in the church after that. I got baptized in that same church by Dr. Record. And then I moved to Los Angeles. And another key point of that is 7 hours away is Stanton, Virginia. That's not 7, like 5.5, 6. I rolled in there to my grandfather, who spent 50 years in a bituminous coal mine. And he could talk the Bible frontwards and backwards. He told me about the Lord in a manner that resonated deeply in my heart. I got in the truck, drove 18 hours to Albuquerque, called back to check in with my sister. She said, Papa died right after you left his house.
Wow. Okay, let me kind of wrap this up. You were going to kill yourself down at the beach. God sent an angel, you were filled with so much joy. You went to your grandfather who brought scripture into your life, just like
Confirmed. He confirmed.
confirmed it. Then when you left, the Lord took him home. Is that right?
Within hours after I left. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.